Are we recording now, Andy?
Yes.
Okay, so can we just start then?
No, it's not streaming yet.
Okay, you'll have to tell me. All right, I'm going to just start, Nick, because I think we're going.
Okay.
All right. So I'm fortunate enough to be here at the end of the longest month in 1 week that we've ever had with Principal Nick Noonan. Now, Nick is a great fella to agree to come on here, our first Fun Friday. And what I want to point out is that while Nick is a principal and has worked in education for a long time, he does not speak for the Scottsdale Unified School District, but he does have an important perspective to share with all of us. By way of introduction, Nick has come to us from Santa Clara University, where he graduated, I think it was 1996, went into education, came to SUSD in 2006 as an assistant principal. Then he went to be a principal over at Kiva, and now he's currently over at Cocopah Middle School. Can you tell us, is it all right if I call you Mr. Noonan, or shall I call you Nick, or just handsome?
Whatever you're most comfortable with.
Okay, handsome. Can you tell us, what did you teach when you were in the classroom?
So I taught first in fourth grade. I taught in the Osborne School District. So that is in a Title I district in the west side of Phoenix. And I just need to clarify one factoid, Eric. Graduated in 92. So you were giving me 4 years that I wish I had, but sadly I do not.
Oh, well, you look very young for that extra 4 years there, handsome.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things I do have to say that I'll break in from time to time as people join the broadcast, and I'll reintroduce the segment. We basically have been coming on every day at 4 o'clock with different people in the community, trying to lend a little bit of semblance, a little bit of reality into what is like a surreal moment, trying to alleviate people's fears, trying to break down the walls that are kind of crawling in and closing in on us. So anything that you want to talk about, you just go ahead and let it rip. I noticed that you have a lovely little background there. I know you are a childhood sweetheart, are married. Is that correct? You and Lori?
Yeah. So Lori and I went to Santa Clara University, same class, same grade, but we were not high school sweethearts. But we started dating our freshman year at Santa Clara. So this October, that will mark 32 years, and this April will be our 25th year anniversary.
Wow, that's beautiful. And you have 2 great kids that are home with you now, correct?
They are. Michael is a junior. He's finishing up his junior year at Santa Clara. So he just came. Well, he came in town a few weeks ago, and then they gave him a short window to go back up and clean out his dorm room and collect his things. So he went up last weekend, and then we had a quick little father-son road trip. I flew up, and we drove back down together on Sunday afternoon. So that was fun. And then Caroline lives in Austin, and she's planning on moving back to Phoenix in May. And so she was sent home to work from home when she was in Austin, not here in Arizona, but at her apartment in Austin, and kind of figuring this was going to be a long-term situation. We flew her home so she's working, doing her internship here from home, and then we hope to have her back permanently in May.
Okay, so Sandy Flayton says hi.
Hi, Sandy.
And Julie Sanowski is saying that she's very impressed with the sport coat and tie, being that it's Fun Friday.
Yeah,
and so you don't want to go ahead. You don't want to stand up and show us the kind of party in the bottom part, do you?
Well,
Kind
no,
of
I
got like
can't. I
this
mean,
Friday
I've got jeans on. Didn't mean to show you that. And then I had tried to set up this little fireside chat environment. Just can't get the camera angle correct. So just know there's a fire in the background.
Always warm you are, Mr. Noonan. Hey, let me just say that for the people that are just joining us, we have Nick Noonan, principal from Cocopah Middle School. He's speaking as an individual with a great background, but he is not speaking to us as a representative of Scottsdale Unified School District. If you'd like to ask any questions of Nick, go ahead and just put those babies in. So it's frozen right now. Nick's frozen. Nick, can you unfreeze yourself? Well, Nick's frozen, so I'll tell you a little bit about while Nick is getting back on board. I will say, and I'm glad he's not here to hear it, is that Nick is I'd have to say, one of my top 3 favorite principals I've ever had the pleasure of working across the aisle from. As you know, as a teacher, I was part of the leadership of the teachers union, and we had the opportunity to kind of battle out sometimes some things. And Nick Noonan, I have to say, has always been there as a reasonable person. And if there's ever any questions about his motives, it's very easy for me to say that people are mistaken.
All right, do you guys?
I was just saying nice things about you, but I am going to stop then.
Sorry, we have the.
Okay, you're going to have to close off one of those guys.
I will. I didn't know if it was.
Okay, so this is Friday Live. This is Fun Friday. This is the fun part. Anyway, Nick, I was just singing your praises. You really are one of the greats. When I have admire you from afar, it isn't just because you're handsome, all right? We've established that you're a tall drink of water. But you actually lead rather than follow. And not too many principals or actually leaders in any profession do that. They usually wait for a telltale sign, and then they try to kind of race to the front of the pack. You are always in front. There are people that are staring at you from behind. Earlier this year, I hope you remember this, but you put out some information on your morning announcements. It was about a very difficult subject. Do you remember what that was? Can you help me with that? Was it about a transgender issue? Was it about a lesbian gay issue? Was it about a bullying thing? I don't remember, but I feel like a fool that I don't remember, but it was really impactful, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really sure because I think we have broached both of those subjects and others kind of head on and from time to time. So, but to your bigger point regarding leading and trying to get in front of things, I learned long ago from my father, actually, who told me or told all of his children that you need to make your own way, and you need to really listen to your heart and to try and do the next best thing. And for me, being in the situation I'm in as a middle school principal and as a elementary school principal before that, when you have kids' best interests at heart at all times, it's kind of, I think you're set up to try and lead and to try and do the right thing, because the fact that we have them for 7 hours a day during the best part of the day, they're well fed, they're awake. It's a huge responsibility, and one that I've never taken lightly, and it's such a privilege. So I don't know exactly what you were referring to. I'm sorry, but it's funny. And I'm not alone in this. Other principals and teachers will tell you the same thing. You know, you'll have a parent come up to you and say, I just want to thank you again for how you handled X, Y, and Z. And you always say, oh my gosh, you know, it was no problem, you're welcome. And then they sometimes will walk away like, okay, what was that again? And it's not because we don't care or that it wasn't meaningful at the time. It's just that we have so many things coming at us each and every day that sometimes you just can't keep all of those memories and facts and together.
I'm just going to say, though, one of the signs of a great leader is that they defer the accolades to others, just like you're doing that. And they lead from their values, so it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. They are always acting with not just honesty, but integrity. So I think our school district is happy. I mean, I know we're happy to have you, but we're lucky to have you. And so I've watched you from afar. You've come out with these morning announcements that you've been doing on Facebook. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what your ending catchphrase is? Yeah.
So now, so that's something near and dear to my heart. So when I was the principal at Kiva, they had a longtime principal who was there before me, Michael Helminski. You probably remember Dr. Helminski, Eric. And they had a daily announcements called was from Project Wisdom is the company, and their words of wisdom. And I did it for 8 years at Kiva. Every single day, me or a designee would be on announcements, and we would have words of wisdom for our students. And then when I came to Cocopah, I just kind of didn't think that would be something that the middle school kids would really connect to. I was like, they might think that's corny or whatever. So this year, mid-year, as we were looking at ways to re-engage kids, to put some character education component into our PBIS program, I went back to Project Wisdom and got some of their sample work and ran it through a couple of teachers, you know, those people you always run things by to see like what's their reaction. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. Sounds great. So the words of wisdom, okay, spoiler alert, I do not write those. I read them. But I have been pretty strategic this week on the ones that I've chosen. So I did call Project Wisdom and asked permission to broadcast those to our students vis-a-vis Instagram and Facebook. And they said, yeah, absolutely. Because normally it's kind of a in-house thing. And so anyway, that's kind of the story behind that. The make it a great day or not, the choice is yours, is Project Wisdom. But I think it's a really, really important reminder
for all of us
that we get to choose each and every day what kind of day we want to have. So I love it, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, not only from students who have been, you know, they know how to get a hold of you. They send me direct messages to my, you know, inbox on Instagram, and they've been emailing me, thanking me for continuing to do those. But more so than that is, you know, the parent and the greater Scottsdale community has really appreciated it. So I find it's my one little way I can promote positive intentions and doing something good.
Well, fantastic. Now, Nick Noonan is joining us. He's the principal of Cocopah Middle School, speaking as an individual, not just for the school district here. Rose Smith says hi. She appreciates you being the professional on a Friday in your outfit. It seems like the outfit's getting a lot of play, which, you know, I mean, look, you've got an image to uphold. I understand.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to get to some of the questions. The people that are writing questions, keep them coming. One of them comes from, I imagine it's a parent. They saw you handing out technology over at Ingleside Middle School because there are some families with more than just one or two children. So we had some extra Chromebooks. Can parents still pick up Chromebooks if needed? And
so that's a great question. And I emailed, I just asked that same question to Debbie Spalding, who is our director of IT, earlier this afternoon. So I don't have a firm answer. So I'm going to say probably most likely yes, but when and where I'm not sure. I can tell you that when I left Ingleside yesterday, just before 7, so they close up shop at 7, we had a number of devices still available. And I believe that they had sent out communication to families that even if you've already picked up one and you have multiple children and you still need some more support, please come on and get another one. So Eric, as soon as and when I'm finished here, I'll double back with Debbie, and I'm sure they'll be putting out some information. So stay tuned, read your emails from the district, and check the social media.
Absolutely. Somebody's asking if you have thought about teaching an administrative academy. Have you been approached? Are you going to do it? And I have a follow-up question. Why can't you get a doctor's degree?
Why? Okay, so
I mean,
no.
you seem like you're the best. You should have a doctorate. I think by the end of this broadcast, we might give you one. Honorary doctorate, Dr. Noonan.
Okay. I think that would be the only way I would get one. So I would happily accept that. And no, I have not, it'd be hard for me to quantify what I would actually help teach in that setting. I mean, maybe I feel like I'm on autopilot most of the time. And
Just inside of you.
I don't know, instinctual, I keep on waiting for someone to knock on my door and say, hey, you know what, we've been watching for a while. You don't really know what you're doing. So we're going to, so no, I am not going to put in the time and energy that many of my colleagues, and I'm in awe of those folks who are pursuing that advanced degree with holding down a principal position. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time away from the home. And I am in awe of them. And I have really a bunch of great friends who are in the throes of that right now. But it's just not for me.
Yeah, I never understood how people do that while they're working and having a family. It seems impossible. But I am not as a hard worker as you, Nick. So, Dr. Noonan, tell me, you have a lot of fans out there in the world. How does a guy like you deal with so many people fawning over him?
I've never really thought of it as that.
That's just a trick question. I'm just kidding. I do want to ask you some questions for Fun Friday. That was going to be one of them, but it's not. Mr. Noonan, Dr. Noonan, if there was one television program that we kind of think about as a train wreck, like I enjoyed Maury Povich. I'll say it right now. Yeah. I like some bad TV. What one television program do you watch that other people might be surprised and say, ew?
Yeah. One comes to mind very quickly, and we're going to hear a lot of groans and wincing right now. The Bachelor and Bachelorette. I do watch that. And I used to tell people, oh, I'm in the room with Lori, and, I'm just there passively so we can spend time together, but I'm not really watching it. But over time and over the years, that's evolved from, tinkering around and reading a book or messing around on the computer to actually watching. So that is the one television show that's horrible that I watch.
Okay,
there may be others.
That was a fluff question. That was a fun question. Now for a serious question. Do you think that this pandemic is going to change how education kind of works going forward? Do you see any big adjustments, resets? There's talk about how we have so much school choice here in Arizona, but now when we have this thing where people want to learn online, we have so many kids living in poverty that they're going to be left behind. I mean, so that's a big question, but tell me, do you see it changing?
So I can speak real specifically about Cocopah and what I've seen kind of unfold in the last couple of weeks. I've seen teachers, and we've got I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't say something about our staff at our school. And then I'm going to go a little bit broader than that as well. So I'm really fortunate that I work in a school and in a school community that is incredibly supportive, professional, and at the very top of their game. That being said, many of them had not had this experience of teaching in an all online or digital format, if you will. And I've been invited, or I'm included in all of their Google Classroom. So we're using Google Classroom as our platform. And I've been jumping in and reviewing lessons and kind of being a student in some of those. I get to pick and choose if I want to engage in a complete lesson. And I've been nothing but mesmerized by how quickly they have adapted this model. So that's a long way of saying that I believe that you will see teachers and schools and districts embrace technology in bigger and better ways. I would love to see more flipped classroom opportunities going forward.
I was going to say that, Nick. I think this is going to lead to more flipped classrooms. Can you just tell everybody what a flipped classroom is real quickly?
Well, in general terms, a flipped classroom would be where the student engages with new instruction, new material at home, or maybe in a computer lab, wherever they have access to technology, but they're actually reviewing and getting instruction online. And then when they walk into the classroom, say the next day, they have that opportunity with their instructor for reteaching, for reviewing, for going deeper. There's guided practice. There's more opportunity, and I think we'll see more of that. I would, maybe we'll go to, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say 4-day school week and Fridays online, but no, just teasing people. I'm not suggesting that yet. But no, I do think we'll see more of that. And I think for society, I think I've got many friends who are not in education, who are working from home, and they're telling me that the work is getting done. These are people who are managing teams of people, and the work is getting done, and they are predicting we'll see more opportunities for telecommuting, more time with family. You talked about a reset. I think this is a real opportunity for all of us to reset and have, we're all kind of stuck at home, so lots of time for self-reflection and time with your loved ones. And I think it is an opportunity to have a really powerful shift in our society.
Wow, that's great. I try to think about all these challenges as opportunities, and I think you probably do as well. There's plenty of silver linings. I usually end the broadcast talking about how it's really raining outside, but we have the opportunity to be the rainbow. So I see a lot of rainbows being made out there, and a little bit of a reset with humanity, getting away all those other things and slowing down and realizing what matters and what's close to the heart. For my advice for parents is to kind of relax a little bit on the learning that is subject matter, and take care of mental health. I think that's most important. The heart is a muscle that needs to be exercised. Exercise it with compassion. The one last question, are there any resources you'd recommend to parents trying to teach at home?
That's a great question, and one that I'm not particularly equipped to answer at this point. But let me just I would love to address the whole on at-home learning and expectations. And again, this is me talking, but this is also the message I've shared with our staff on multiple occasions, and that is I'm assuming, so my mindset right now is, okay, this is probably going to go for likely the remainder of the school year. Scottsdale has not said that. The state of Arizona has not. No one has said that, but I'm just predicting. So my mindset is, this is kind of the long haul. So we want to make sure that we are providing some worthwhile learning opportunities, right? We don't want it to be nothing, but we also want to make sure that we're being sensitive and finding the balance. So the middle school principals, I think we're really striving to find that. And so one way we've kind of done that is we're on an A/B schedule. So Eric, as you remember, middle school kids have 7 periods. One is lunch, and then they have 6 classes. So we're on an A/B schedule, Monday through Thursday. Monday and Wednesday is A day. Tuesday and Thursday is B day. And so they have 3 classes on each day, rotating. And my message to teachers has been, give them about no more than about an hour of work time. That includes watching, participating in instruction, having some guided practice, and homework for each class, no more than an hour. So we're going from about a 7-hour day, kind of squishing that into about a 3-hour day. And the reason we did that is we understand that families have multiple kids at multiple levels. Some schools are going on live, so they need to have a device. If they have limited resources, they need to have a device that they can connect with that teacher right at that time. So we were trying to really find a balance. The other message is, we're always going to have a percentage of students who are not going to engage in the work. We're not going to beat them up during this time. We don't know what's happening inside their homes. So we're not going to be heavy-handed in any way. We're going to provide the opportunity. There's no shame for not engaging in school at this time, especially if their family is struggling in any sort of way. And as you know, Eric, because you worked most of your career in Title I schools, we have families that both parents are working. They might have multi-generational situation in their homes. Grandfather might be taking care of 6 or 7 kids at home. They have one computer. He's got to feed them, and he's got to monitor them getting all their schoolwork done. So we understand that. Just let's breathe a little bit, and so that's kind of my outlook on that. I would say to any parent out there, because I got an email this morning from a real lovely person, and they were looking for more to do, right? Because there's always going to be those kids who are, they're super bright and they want to get stuff done and they want more. So
not me. I was never like that.
No, that wasn't me either. But parents, if you're listening, if that's you, if that's your son or daughter, might I recommend having them engage in creating maybe like a digital or even pen to paper accounting of this time in their lives, because someday they're going to be grandparents and parents, and it would be kind of a cool primary source of their own experience.
Perfect.
So now we're connecting ELA and social studies standards with something that can be really meaningful and that they can cherish and remember, where they were during the pandemic.
Right.
It's kind of like, my parents, it was World War II. Others, it was Vietnam. For us, it was, I guess 9/11, a big thing. So this for them, it's going to be this. That's going to define their generation, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to a couple of fun questions in a moment. I want to make a little bit of an announcement, just piggybacking on that. We're here every day at 4 o'clock. Next Wednesday, we're going to actually have a child and family psychologist on. So that's one of the people we're going to be bringing on to kind of help families deal with some of the issues they might be seeing, get some professional advice. I know we'll be talking, one of the people that will be on is a small business owner. They'll be talking us through how they went through the mechanisms of getting money from the federal government. And then we have the 2016 Teacher of the Year, Christine Porter-Marsh, coming on as well. So if you'd like to get updates about our weekly schedule, you can click on the link that's in the Facebook feed and give us your email address and we'll get that out to you. So, Nick, a couple of fun questions because it is Fun Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Lori's out for a long time with her friends, maybe a week or so. And you're bacheloring it. Dirty socks, is it in the laundry or is it inside out for another wear?
No. So if I'm alone, it's in the hamper. I'm probably doing my laundry every day or every other day. Not that I create that much laundry. I just don't like dirty laundry.
Okay.
So I would do it often. The house would probably not look like anybody who was living in it. It would be very tidy.
Okay. Then we're going to still work with Lori away from the house.
Okay.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh.
I know mine is Nick Noonan. I think people realize that right now.
Yeah. Let's see. It really okay. I think her name
Just
is
between you and me. There's nobody watching.
No one else, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Connie Chung. The Caitlin. Now this is horrible. She's not really a celebrity, but she's an ABC reporter. I can't remember her last name. She just recovered from the coronavirus.
Really?
Someone will know that information, and her last name begins with an H. If Lori was here, she would shout it out, but she's outside with her family doing a Zoom happy hour
Nice.
while I'm in here. So yeah. You know what? It's smart, fun people. I guess would be people that I would sort of be attracted to.
All right.
Other than my wife, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. And online, I've been asking people if you can have anything for your dinner tonight. What would that entree be?
Oh, hot fudge sundae.
Nice.
I have a wicked sweet tooth.
Okay. So a follow-up, if I may, sir. Follow-up. What is the place that you would go for that hot fudge sundae?
Oh, so, Houston's makes a pretty good one. I haven't had theirs in a really long time. I fancy myself a pretty decent cook, Eric. So I've been known to whip up Grandma Noonan's homemade hot fudge sauce and toast my pecans in the oven and whip up some whipped cream. So the best sundae I can make right in my own home.
All right. Well, since you are a cook, one last question. I promise this is it, and then we're going to go. Again, everybody, we're here Monday through Friday. If you have topics,
I can stay all night. I'm good.
No, you have a happy hour to get to.
That's I'm not included on that.
Oh, you're not imbibing. Okay. I fancy myself a chef as well, but tell us, was there ever like a major screw ups? I'll start. The other day I was making, and I've done this quite a few times now. I was making Thai food. I was making a Thai red chili sauce for chicken. and I like to thicken it up a little bit because I use chicken stock as the base. And the cornstarch looks the same as the baking soda, and I did it twice now where I put baking soda in there to make a slurry, and the thing starts fizzing up. And let me just tell you, it just doesn't taste good. So one major screw up in the kitchen that Dr. Noonan has done.
Okay, so I need to ask you just a follow-up to that story. Is your baking soda and cornstarch like in individual jars or something? Like, do you not know how to read?
I do know how to read, but you see these glasses?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't have them, and I am lazy. And
Yeah,
they look
okay.
exactly alike.
It begged the question. You know, I think I love to make gumbo.
Nice.
And I have overcooked my roux,
Ooh.
trying to get it as deep, dark red as you possibly can. And on 2 occasions, I've just gone over the tipping point to where it's blackened, and it does create kind of a not so pleasant taste. So I think my biggest screw ups have been making basically flour and oil at high heat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I actually worked in a restaurant, ZK House Grill, for a long time. I used to love their gumbo. At the end of the night, I'd put it on top of mashed potatoes, and that was my favorite meal.
Oh, yeah.
Nick, thank you so much for coming on the program. I hope you'll join us in the future. You are a great man. For everybody else that's out there, stay safe. Take a moment to kind of dial it down a little bit. If you're out there and there's a long line and you have a short temper, just zip it. There are people out there doing the best they can. You do not know what anybody else's circumstances are. You do not know. And there's just a lot of amped up kind of emotions now. So be a good human. Be the rainbow. I love you all, and I will see you on Monday. Thanks, Nick. Go have a good time with your happy hour.
Thank you, Eric. You as well. Have a great one.
All right.